fingers are frozen, y'all. So let's pretend like we're a mechanic today and finish up on the Subaru. Here we go.
We are going to bring the Subaru down and start on it. It's probably going to take me 2 days to finish it, even though it's only maybe a 4-hour job. I get a bunch of phone calls and a bunch of people stopping in, and I got to do all the business. We got some non-stripped out bolts. We got some crank seals and all that good stuff. We got a bunch of timing chain guides, all the belts and hoses. I'm gonna do a full service with the trans and also a high mileage Valvoline Max Life 530 oil change because I love the Max Life products. They're amazing. Yep. And it'll be a ripper and ready to go. So let me let it down and basically get to it. I'll show a couple of tips here and there. Got the time lapse going for the GoPro. So one of the first things I want to do before I do these guides is I'm going to take the crank bolts, put it back in, and I'm going to turn till the timing marks match as if I was doing a whole timing chain. That way if something does come loose, everything will be marked. So I'm going to line up my timing marks, and then I will probably lock it down somewhere so hopefully it does not move. Got all the belts and hoses ready to change. That'll probably be the last thing I clean. We'll do the oil change and transmission service since the filter is right there. What else? That's pretty much it. When you're installing a new chain, it's actually pretty neat the way they've got this set up. So you got a couple of marks on each sprocket of all the important pulleys, the crank pulleys, crank pulley there, intake and exhaust cam pulleys. But there's also marks on the chain itself. So you set all your marks up if you can find them, or not if you have to. And then the chain has a series of blue and gold marks that you've got to mix up with the dots. Like this one's got an arrow going up, and then you got a dot here. So the new chain, you'd line up your gold or blue mark there. Down here, you'd have a blue mark and a blue mark that they need to line up. Same with this dot over here, it'd have a blue chain, a blue link there, and so forth all the way around. So it's kind of like a double redundant system to make sure it's accurate, which is pretty neat. But for now, I have my crank pulley up. I've got this mark up. Some pulleys will have these arrows on all the pulleys, some will not. Like these other ones, they do not have the arrow. They've got the dots to line them up, but my exhaust pulleys, they have this extra little piece there, almost like an eccentric lobe. So that's going to be my arrow roughly, because they're in the 12 o'clock position. So right now, essentially, I could lock this down, take the chains off, put them in, and it would still be timed. But if you did new chains, you want to line up everything. That way you just know. But again, I'm not pulling my chains off. I'm just going to change these guides in the water pump. Yep, here we go. So I, instead of pulling out all my timing sets that have different holders and stuff, just real quick, I put some tape around a couple of vice grips, lock them down in place. That bad boy's not going to move. Now I'm going to pull these tensioners off and these guides and change them. So here's the main guide that was there that let go. There's a newer, updated version. I'm hoping it's updated. It's a different color, so I'm going to say it's updated. This one let go, still has a chunk back there. Stuff that one in as well as all the other ones, and I'll show you, even though the other ones are good, we're still changing something. This other one I'm changing, I'll show you, it was the only other one that had a slight little wiggle in it. Probably been fine, but it was cheap, so I'm gonna change it anyway. Alright, so here is the side one. It sits like this over here with the chain going up in it. See right there, there's a little piece that's supposed to clip over. See the clean spot? It is missing. See the clean spot there? It is missing. I just dropped some. What did I drop? Oh, the bolts. Alright, so right there, we got a piece that broke off. Even though this is still doing its job, I just know it's only a matter of time before it does that. So we got the new one. Again, it looks upgraded and updated too. Bigger and thicker. Nice. Let's get these back on and the rest. Alright, even though it was the guides on this side, I just noticed something about the tensioner on this side. It was it's missing this port clean out, if you will. That Allen. See that? It's missing. But it was still doing its job, so that's kind of good news. Both of them were still doing their job. Just that guide had broke for some reason. I found this making noise. Anyway, let's put these bad boys in so I can pull these grenade pins. And nope, let's do the water pump. Then I'll put these in. Alright, we had a phone call come in and I do not remember what I was talking about, but those are in. I'm gonna take a razor blade, cut all this stuff off, and put this cover back on. Yep. I cannot stress enough to take your time and clean. When you're done cleaning, clean some more. Scrape up all the old silicone, any of the oil dripping, air, everything. Just clean it all. And then clean it again. Then wipe it back down with some brake clean. That way, you won't have to worry about any oil leaks in the future from that particular job anyway. Water pump, tensioner, new guides, done. Putting her back together now. Got to clean that up and put the goo on it. We have our seal tools, our cleaning tools. I'm way overdo it with that thing. And I'm gonna use some copper high temp goo because my orange stuff is missing in action. But it'll work. Anyway, let me go back to time lapse so I don't get copyright infringement for this Bon Jovi song on the background. I'm gonna use one socket to knock that out. I'm gonna take note to how far it is on both sides, in and out, and just kind of put it back where it was. Use another socket to beat it in, and then I'll use the wood off the handle there to kind of tap it into place too for the seal. But I'm gonna clean up all this goo from the last time it was off, or I think they used it from the factory. But either way, here we go. We have the guides on. We have this stuff getting tacky. Put another layer, thin layer on the bottom of the engine as well. That way it can mate to itself. We've got some of the new Allen head bolts right there. I'm gonna put the balancer on before I tighten down all the bolts, just out of habit. I don't think it's gonna be the normal process on this car because there's so many bolts that timing cover's only going to go on one way, but I'm still going to put the timing cover on with just a couple of bolts, leave it loose, and put the balancer on, cinch it up, and then tighten down everything. So we'll do a couple of them. There's 43 bolts. I'll do a couple of them on the regular video, and then you get the idea because you get to watch me take it apart. I've already done the harmonic balancer seal as well. Luckily, this cover has two dowels to line everything up, so hopefully I can do that without taking off a lot of silicone. Should be good and lined up. There's only 3 different types of bolts out of the 43. Can you see that? Can you see that? I don't know. I think you can see that. And they will go as follows. Long one there. Short one there. Rotated the balancer until I found the keyway. This bolt is reusable and it's already got oil on it for the threads. I'm basically going to cinch it down now, and then after I get the timing cover on, I will torque it down to 131 foot-pounds. So there's still a little gap in this because it essentially presses itself onto the dowel pins. So I am basically going to snug all these up top, and then I'm going to go to the bottom and snug those in and then tighten them down. That's the gist of that. So let's do the rest on a time lapse. You're essentially going to tighten up all 40 of these bolts about 4 different times because you don't want to put too much stress on them at one time. So you do a little bit, you do them all a little bit until they get snug, then you do them again, then you do them again, and then you torque them down to the specified. There is a sequence of what to do. You can look it up online. It's about 4.7 foot-pounds for each one of these 40 bolts. Yep, because 1, 2, 3 or something else. So yep, 40 volts. And then of course 131 on that. So I think that's all I'm going to do today. I'll come back tomorrow because my fingers are frozen. I've been at it all day in between this and other customers. But yeah, timing cover's on. I'll get these 2 little bolts on next for the oil, whatever. Still gotta get trans lines before I put the radiator in. But yeah, this section. So 4.7 foot-pounds turns into about 50-something inch-pounds, which is also around 6.6 newton meters. So click, 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 click. They're all done. Woohoo! New belts on, timing's on, oil change done, transmission service done, cleaned up the battery terminal. We got about 5.5 quarts in it right now. It'll probably be a little low, but it'll be good enough to crank up now. I want to make sure that rattling is gone. If not, we just did all that work for nothing. If the rattling's gone, then I'll go ahead and put everything back together. And that was the goal, because it already ran great. So, no drips. All right, let's crank her up. Let her run for a couple of seconds. Let's see what happens. Here we go, first crank up. If I can reach the key. If I can reach the key without hitting the horn. Oh my. Hit the horn anyway. Ooh, no rattle, rattle. That is beautiful. No. Awesome. Big dirty thumbs up. This job is done. Condenser, radiator going back in, then we're going for a drive, and it'll be fine. So that's the end of this video. That's what it takes to change some guides and timing stuff. Yeah. All right, turn this thing off. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. This sounds so good. It runs so good. Yeah. All right, time to finish it up. All right. New hoses, new transmission lines, new gaskets, new oil filter, new transmission filter, transmission service, oil change. That's on the bottom end. All right, on the top end, we got battery, we got both upper hoses, we got a belt. We have to put the coolant reservoir back in, but new coolant, water pump, new what's that, coolant, timing chain service, belts. I mean the chain, the guides, the tensioners, water pump, everything. So this one is about to get driven and hopefully ready to go.